Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Red Brothers Pod. I'm Victor,
And I'm Alex.
and we're very deflated today, pretty naturally after yesterday's result.
Unfortunately.
I don't think anyone in our fan base would have seen that go the way it went. I think it was once we sort of got past that hurdle of playing them away, I think that, we sort of thought we were in the clear, but, they've come to Anfield and shocked us, and they've gone through deservedly, and I think that, there's no sort of other way to put that.
Yeah, I agree. I think the plan for the two legs was try not concede two at PSG. Try keep it close. Maximum we concede is one. Hopefully get a draw. Well, obviously, hopefully get a win, but a draw would be ideal, perfect for us. We somehow won that game, so we're going into Anfield being like, okay, step one's completed. Now we just got to see out at Anfield, and that's exactly what we didn't do.
I think the games were a bit parallel to themselves. I think PSG should have been winning the first leg quite comfortably, and we shouldn't have had a sniff.
Definitely.
Whereas in the second leg, okay, they created a lot more than we created at their stadium, but we created a load of opportunities and we just couldn't finish.
We could have killed that game
so
easily.
I mean, Salah has two chances in the first sort of 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The one he puts past the post and the one that he missed. I mean, again, we could have been going sort of 2 goals up there, and when we had that first 10 minutes, I thought, yeah, this is brilliant. We're gonna blow them away, comfortable night, and then obviously the goal goes in, and what a shit goal to concede. I mean, again, the build-up play from PSG was really nice to get to that position, but the finish itself and what sort of led to the finish is just really disappointing. That's what caused us to be out of the Champions League, and that is it, solely and purely. We can see that one goal, we can't get one back, and it takes us to penalties, and I think we both sort of knew that if it goes to penalties with Donnarumma in goal, it's going to be slim chances for Liverpool.
I agree.
Putting Núñez on that second penalty obviously proved us right, and I think the key talking points from the game would be obviously the goal and the penalties, and I think that it's rare that we say this, but Schlott got it wrong, and I think putting Núñez on that second penalty, we've seen this guy isn't confident. He doesn't have that willpower in him to go on and do that, and It's just a really easy penalty to save for Donnarumma, and it's just so frustrating that out of everyone, put Verge on it. We all remember the sort of the finals we played at Wembley versus Chelsea. Put Verge on him, let him welly it, and then you're going up 2-1, or it would have been 2-2, and then we're still in the shootout, and then if Núñez doesn't miss before Jones, there's potential that with that confidence of us being in the game, he goes and scores, but. Yeah, just really disappointing and quite sad to see that we've crashed out like this. But I think, we could have got beaten 3-0 at the Parc des Princes, lost at Anfield. It could have been another situation like Real Madrid the last time we were in the Champions League. So it's not embarrassing. The better team won. It is what it is. It happens in football, and it's just a hardship you sort of have to accept when you become a football fan.
Well, I think my emotions are more disappointed rather than being angry.
Yeah, I don't. The only anger I felt was towards Núñez after that penalty, because I knew he was going to miss it before he'd taken it, and if I knew that, why doesn't he know that? But obviously, don't get me wrong, in his head he'll think, yeah, I'm a striker, I cost 85 million, this is my responsibility. But in reality, we really could have done with Núñez not being on them pens. And I think subbing Szoboszlai off when it looked in extra time like we were waiting for penalties. I don't know if you saw, but countless times the ball went back to Alisson, and he stood over it, waited for the striker to waste time, and then as soon as the striker got close, he'd pick it up, and it's like, why are we doing that? We're coming up against one of the best penalty shootout goalkeepers probably in Europe, and I just don't understand. But yeah, really frustrating. I think we had plenty of chances. We could have easily gone through, and I think obviously rival fans are going to banter us, it's normal, whatever, but I think again, like I mentioned, it wasn't embarrassing. It wasn't a demolition job. We got beat by a better team. Like I said, it happens,
Yeah.
and it's sort of all focused now on the Carabao Cup and the league.
Yeah, I think my hopes were so high after that first leg.
Yeah,
I think the fact that we survived that, I'll be honest, playing against a better team for probably the first time this whole season.
yeah. I mean,
And
they're by far, on performance on the night, they're by far the best team we've played, and I think
yeah,
organisation as a unit, again, they're by far the best we've played. I can't even think of another game where we got took to the sword like we did against PSG.
Yeah.
So, look, it happens. It is really unfortunate. Obviously, we would have all liked to see us sort of go on and win the Champions League as well, but it's not meant to be. And yeah, now, like I said, it's just the Premier League and sort of the Carabao Cup to focus on.
yeah, I agree. I think I want to quickly touch on that Nunez penalty decision. I think that it was a high risk, high reward, and
But what's the reward?
the reward is
'Cause
if he scores that and we go on to win that penalty shootout, his confidence for the remainder of the season is going to be outstanding, and that's
I
what
don't
Schlott's
care.
thinking. And
I
I
don't
understand,
care.
and
Yeah,
it
okay,
turned out wrong.
but look, in the instance of a penalty shootout, there's two outcomes: you score, or you miss.
Yeah,
Yeah, you've got to focus on that there and then. Yeah,
yeah,
and he missed. Yeah, brilliant. If he scored, the outcome would
Yeah.
have been stupendous for the next few months. Probably not, because look at Newcastle away.
Yeah.
He scores 2, plays the next couple of games, doesn't do niche. So again, I understand where you're coming from, giving him that confidence, but you don't put a player that's low on confidence in a penalty like that, in that game state, to hope
Yeah.
they regain their confidence. That doesn't make sense.
I think
That's not the place that you regain your confidence.
I think that would be the only way that you could justify what Schlott did there, because there would be no other reason for why Nunez just took that penalty.
I don't know.
Do you know what
I
I
have
mean?
no clue. I don't know. Obviously, Schlott will spend a lot more time with Diesel on the training ground. He sees them every day and stuff. So there's got to be something that merited his decision. But even if there is something that merits it, it doesn't mean it's the right decision. And ultimately, it was the wrong decision, and it seems to be the thing that cost us.
I agree.
And yeah, again, it's just annoying because it seems like we're always scapegoating on the same sort of players, but it's them same players that put us in these situations. Like, to start with, like, okay, you guys want to talk about Nunez and how we should, cherish and love him and do everything. We've done that for years. No one else around us sort of believed in Nunez when he signed. Me and Alex were the only ones that loved him, because in that 22-23 season when we were absolutely shit, Nunez was the shining light. Every time we played, Nunez was the most exciting player on the pitch.
Yeah.
Even if he didn't score or assist, he'd make things happen. He'd make runs, which none of the other players at the time were doing. That's why it was so good. But now, when the level of the team elevates and we're playing for these bigger fish, bigger competitions, he's not good enough. And okay, cool, we can sit here and act like he is good enough to make everyone on the internet happy, but reality is we know he's not good enough. The rest of the world knows he's not good enough, and that's that. He's just not good enough. We just have to replace him with someone better.
I agree with you. I agree. And who are we really going to be able to bring in someone that's so much better? Do you really think that will happen? Do you really think that will happen?
Here's where we go back to the debate about the owners. Not necessarily a debate I want to have right now, but I don't know, mate, honestly, because at this point, there are a lot of options that are better than Nunez.
I think Marmou should have been the perfect one, but City snatched him.
Well, guess what? We were linked with him for ages. Liverpool didn't make a decision, and they got beat to it. Again, like I said, I don't want to get into the owner chat because, that's not what the episode's about, and we had a bit of a rant on it on a previous episode, but it is really frustrating, and hopefully we can get the recruitment right in the summer to be able to obviously go forward as a team and obviously improve the quality of it.
I agree. I mean, now it's just obviously the league and the cup to look forward to. I think it really is safe to say that we've won the league.
Yeah.
I genuinely do not believe that there's no chance that we can behold this now.
Nah, no chance. And I think that, you know, I just hope we can go out there on Sunday, put in a good performance against Newcastle, win that cup, and give us something to sort of block what happened beforehand. So it's really important that we bounce back well versus Newcastle and we go on to win that trophy, because if we get knocked out of the Champions League and then on the weekend losing the cup final, that's not going to be great for the squad. And then when you're looking in terms of the Premier League, okay, it probably won't happen, but you're starting to put hope in Arsenal. You're starting to, show sort of weakness and showing cracks in the armour. So
I agree.
So yeah, I think it's really key now to sort of bounce back on Sunday or Saturday. Is it the final? I don't even know anymore. We're flying to Thailand, so who cares?
Yeah.
It'll be on when we're there. So
probably be
that's
on Monday,
all we need to know, probably. But anyways, like I said, really important to bounce back versus Newcastle, get that trophy, get the lads up and positive again, and get back to that good atmosphere. But since I've just mentioned atmosphere, Anfield really let me down last night. You heard the PSG fans all game. I know they go up 1-0 early and it changes the momentum, but that's when Anfield was needed the most by Liverpool, and I think it didn't deliver, and it's really sad. It really is sad, because what has been so famous about Liverpool is them European nights at Anfield, and now we've got 3,000 Parisians that are out shouting our lot. So it is really sort of discouraging to see, because I thought on an occasion like this there'd no place that would be like Anfield, and that just wasn't the case.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see, and it's a problem that we had in 22-23, where Anfield just wasn't what it should be, and that's why that could have been a factor why we had such a poor season.
Anfield hasn't been what it's supposed to be since about maybe the year after we won the Premier League, with that COVID season, and then the fans came back after lockdown, and I think ever since then, it's not something just of my opinion or something that I've seen or witnessed. I watch a lot of Liverpool content, and a lot of them are saying the same things. There's more and more tourists and less supporters, and that reflects on game night, where the lads are relying on Anfield to give them a boost, and it's just not there, because half of the people in the ground don't know what the song is they're singing, or they don't know the chant or whatever. It is really annoying, and it gives the rival fans that little thing where they can go, haha, not so famous Anfield atmosphere. Don't get me wrong, it's still there from time to time, but I think it's sad to see that it's not there always like it should be, especially when we're in the fight for a title.
Definitely.
Like Southampton again, atmosphere weren't great. I get it's Southampton, but you're nine games away from winning the title. I remember in 2018-19, Anfield was a cauldron every game. 19-20, same thing. When we win the league, Anfield was an absolute cauldron, and it makes the difference. And even if you look at our home results this season, we've lost to Forest, we've drew to Man United, we've drew to Fulham. Who else? Obviously, the PSG loss now. And you look at that and it's like, them moments, that's when Anfield was needed, and it feels like it wasn't there. Even against United, for half the game you could hear their fans more than the Anfield crowd. And again, that's not good enough. It's embarrassing. And I already see what the comments are going to be. You lot watch from your chairs at home. It's not our fault we can't afford the games. Why can't we afford to go to the games? Because they're for tourists, and now tickets on resale are going for around 250 quid, and let's be honest, Alex doesn't work, he's still in school. I can't afford to take us both to Anfield week in, week out to watch the games. So it's not a fact that we don't want to go. There's nothing that me and Alex want more to be at those games. Singing the chants, singing You'll Never Walk Alone, all of that. But because football's gone the way it has into tourism, business, money, we're losing touch with that thing that makes football what it is, because without the fans it's not football. We saw that in lockdown. It was so much less of an enjoyable product because the fans weren't there, and it's just sad to see. And it's cutting out genuine fans from coming to the games in favour of these tourists that will go to the club shop, spend £1 million, and go buy a hot dog or something. Whereas because we're fans and we have the shirts already, we're not going to go to the club shop and spend that much. So they'd rather have those sorts of people. And of course, from a business perspective, it makes sense. But I think it's important to understand that football is more than a business.
Yeah.
Football is the livelihood of thousands of men around the UK, and there's nothing that we dream more about than turning up to our stadium on match day and singing the songs and being with the fans, being with people that are there for the same reason as you. But it's just unattainable and unachievable because it's just outpriced for normal working class people.
Yeah.
And I think that football has been a working class sport for years, and this recent changed into sort of flashy pop culture. All of this, it's just not good. And again, like I said multiple times, it's just really sad to see. And I think that when you get that sort of atmosphere at Anfield in a second leg of a Champions League game versus a European giant, that's where it's crossed the line too far. And the club should be doing whatever it takes to retain as many season tickets, get all the people into the stadium that actually support the club, and are going to go there and sing their heart out. And Klopp said last season countless times, if you're not coming to sing your heart out, don't come, because why are you there? You're there as a supporter, so support your team. Don't sit there on your phone videoing every 5 seconds of it to show your mum or whatever. That's not what you're there for, mate. You're there to support your team, so do it.
Yeah, and these small things, like for example, when we went to the Etihad to watch City versus Liverpool, for the game they had a whole light show, firework display for
that's what I
and
mean.
everything
That's
for football.
That's the business money side coming out of it. Like,
exactly.
No one wants that. Give me a slaggy burger and a pint. That's what I want, not fireworks and whatever that is.
Like nonsense,
yeah,
mate.
literally,
that's
exactly what it is. And it's just so annoying because we're going away from football as we know and love it, and every season it just gets further and further away. And now we're starting to see it at our club, and of course, don't get me wrong, people are going to say, you're only saying it because you see it at your club. But this is an opinion I've held for ages, because I know how passionate I am about supporting my team. If I go to Anfield for a game and I come back with my vocal cords intact, that was a shit day.
Yeah.
So, it's really important to me that other people that go to the games feel the same, and they should. But it's not the case, and I guess, like I mentioned, the club should be doing their due diligence to get as many of these fans in the stadiums, make tickets affordable, make it all accessible, and yeah, maybe we'll see. But again, due to the money, I just don't see that likely to happen.
Yeah, and I think there's no excuse because the team performance has been amazing. We're top of the Premier League. We've had many good results. So the fact that we're doing so well this season should warrant an amazing atmosphere
that's exactly
at Anfield.
my point. In prior seasons, when we were doing well in either the Prem or the Champions League or both, that was when Anfield was at its best, like in title races. Anfield, like some of them City games over the years, the big games against United at home, the atmosphere was absolutely electric, and it's just sad to see it go because it's the club's selling point. Like for example, West Ham moving to the Olympic Stadium, fans being further away doesn't create the same atmosphere. West Ham, are all of a sudden not great at home anymore. They don't keep that really good home record that they had at Upton Park, because they don't have the same support behind them. Okay, cool, we haven't moved stadiums, but if we put more tourists into the stadium that aren't going to support, then guess what? We'll have the exact same effect.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Anfield isn't going to be the fortress it should be. All of a sudden, these teams are going to feel like they can come here and, calm the crowd down. That should never even be a sentence. Come to Anfield and calm the crowd down. Have you lost your mind?
Yeah, exactly.
But all of a sudden it is, and again, I know I keep saying it, but it's just sad to see.
Yeah, and that could somehow be a factor to our loss yesterday. It could have just pushed us that little bit further.
Again,
a little bit of support.
Let me just say something. Don't get me wrong, guys. We're not making excuses. We've said multiple times, PSG were the better side and they deserve to go through. But it's also important to go over the little things that could have made the difference.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think this could be one of them.
And I agree with you. And the first 10 minutes, the crowd was up. We had great chances.
There
and
we go. Exactly my
Salah
point.
nearly scored twice. We had so many good chances. And I was looking at the 10 minutes, and I'm thinking, we're not losing this game.
Yeah,
I'm thinking,
and
we're not losing
that
this game.
happens.
All of a sudden, we concede a stupid goal. By the way, I just want to give a quick note on Gravenberch. He was sleeping for that goal. The pass goes through the midfield. And
Van Dijk, I think you mean.
I think it was Gravenberch.
Nah,
he was
Van Dijk... Dembele peeled off Van Dijk and went in between Van Dijk and Konate.
There was a massive gap into the midfield, and you can physically see Gravenberch tracking back, and you can see him, and he suddenly wakes up and he realizes, oh shit, I need to run to this ball, and he does it just that tad bit too late, and it creates that gap.
Nah, I think Van Dijk's the problem, because before it even got to that point, Van Dijk should have stepped out and just cleaned up. Because what happens is Van Dijk and Konate are here at the back.
Yeah.
And Dembele's like right here next to Van Dijk. He then peels off into the middle, into the gap between our two centre backs and our two DMs, so McAllister and Gravenberch. So he's now in this gap. All it would have required is Van Dijk going up here, letting him put his back up against him.
Yeah.
And then he can't turn, because the minute he turns, Van Dijk just nicks it off him, and he can't really do much. But what happens is Van Dijk stays in the 4, which then allows Dembele to turn on his favoured left foot and play the through ball in behind Van Dijk onto Barcola, who was running on. So, again, it should have been prevented before Gravenberch should have even intervened. And, again, I just think it was really lazy from Van Dijk, and I think it ends up costing us a goal. And, again, Ibu should have probably dealt with that better. For me, I wouldn't necessarily put it down to either Ibu or Alisson's fault. I think it was a fault in communication. They didn't know who was claiming that ball, and that's what happens when you go into something uncertain.
Well, this
Shit
is
happens.
similar to Southampton.
Literally.
That's why I think it's a similar goal. And
because Van Dijk waits for the keeper to come, the keeper doesn't come, and then he gets to, But on this one, the keeper does come. And when he probably shouldn't have. He should have stayed on his line. Konate would have then a lot more comfortably dealt with it, because he doesn't have his goalkeeper diving into his feet, and he could get a full proper kick on it and get it away. But shit happens. It happened, and we're here now. Looking on to Newcastle.
Yeah, I guess it's so disappointing. I was thinking first 10 minutes, we must win this game. We concede, and then we just couldn't get it back again after that. I think there was a point in the second half where we put quite a lot of pressure on. But
that disallowed goal, and sort of 10-15 minutes after, we really stepped it up.
It was just, that was it though, and it's not good enough. That's not how you win a Champions League. And after the first leg, I'm thinking we're smashing these in the second leg, and we can possibly win the Champions League, because we've just dealt with a great side. But that's just what happens, and we need to stay consistently on that top level, because if we let it drop for even 3 minutes, that's all it took, and we conceded.
But that's what I mean. When you play against these top teams, 1 second even, 1 split second wrong decision, Van Dijk not following Dembele into midfield, and you're a goal down, and you end up out of the tie. So it goes to show the sort of the level it requires to win these trophies. But it's sad to see. It's just so annoying that that's the way we concede. That's one thing I couldn't get out of my head. Like, come on, man. It's nothing no one could have done to prevent that. There was, but it's just so. Pardon me. It was so frustrating.
And the fact there's no goal scored after that, after chance on chance on chance, it's poor.
Again, more bad news. Trent is injured, God knows how long. I think the only bit of good news after the game was that Konate wasn't injured, he was just tired, so thank God for that, because Quansah would have been playing centre-back at right-back at the same time versus Newcastle, which might have been the first time that would ever happen if Konate actually got injured.
We'd probably have to go to a free-back.
Well, now, we'd probably play Endo centre-back with Van Dijk and then go with the full-back. Oh, yeah, but we don't even...
Do we not have Bradley?
No, he's injured.
Well, that's fantastic.
That's what I mean. It's all season. Liverpool are so lucky. They've got no injuries. They're playing everyone. They're so lucky. They've not played a tough team yet. And then, of course, we don't have injuries. Half of our defence is out. We have no cover. Same players playing week in, week out for 90 minutes. But, yeah, cool. We've got no injuries. And I think, again, going into Newcastle, playing 120 minutes and then penalties, obviously, the exhaustion of that going into the final, it doesn't bode well, but hopefully Liverpool will be able to overcome that and, go on to win.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, obviously, we are expected to win this game, but you never know.
Yeah, I mean, Newcastle's going to have Isak back for this game. He was back for the last Prem game, so I can imagine he'll be starting. Newcastle do have injury problems of their own, so I think that makes it a little bit easier for us. But yeah, definitely not ideal. But yeah, I think it's around that time that we get into the player ratings.
Yeah, I agree with you. And if we start with Alisson, that goal,
I'd give him a 6. I mean, he makes some really good saves, but that situation just doesn't bode well
it's
for him.
It's unfortunate after the first leg, and also if he didn't make that mistake for that goal, then
it would have been 2 games, no goals conceded for Ali, and probably the reason we went through.
Yeah, and that he had one fantastic save I remember in particular that shocked me again, but it's just not enough, unfortunately, and that's the tight margins in football.
So 6.
Yeah, I agree. Moving on to Trent, what do you think?
It's a tough one because I think, you know what, Trent gets an 8 from me. I think he was really good going back. And I think that he was really good going forward. Obviously, massively involved in that goal that got disallowed. He was just spamming the shoot button at that point. I think he had like 3 shots in like 15 seconds. But yeah, I give him an 8. That's the performance I want to see from Trent, and I was actually really happy about his performance yesterday. It was a real shame he came off injured because he could have given us that vital boost we needed in extra time and, the latter stages of the game that could have put us across the line and got a goal. His crossing and playmaking ability could have created something himself. So really disappointing, and I think that sort of pegged us back at one point as well with Quansah at right back. So yeah, Trent gets an 8 from me. Really happy with him.
I agree. I think I saw defensive change this game.
Yeah,
something we don't see too often. I mean, there's always an odd game out where he has a surprisingly good defensive performance, but I think that was another one of them.
Yeah. So moving on to Ibu. It's going to be so harsh, but it's going to have to be a 5 because of the goal, for me at least.
I think I'm going to have to give it a 6. I don't think we can be too harsh on him because it's not like he was pure shocking the whole game.
True. Yeah, we'll go for a 6. True. You are right.
If we're going to give Ali 6, then we've got to give Konate a 6.
Fair.
That's the way I see it.
Van Dijk again, 6.
Yeah, just nothing special again.
Robbo, I don't know. He was good going forward. Defensively, he was just poor.
Yeah, going forward, I was quite impressed with him in the first half in particular. So
it's a tough one to rate Robbo.
I'll just give it a 6. I'll be honest.
It just feels like one of them days where everyone's gonna get a 6. Gravenberch.
It's so rare I say this, but I'm so disappointed in his performance.
But
6.
I think we've just ran him into the ground. That's the problem.
Yeah, possibly.
Look what Arsenal sort of did with Saka and United with Rashford. I've said this countless times over the last few years, when you get these really young players coming through, if they're consistently playing 90 minutes week in, week out, sometimes twice a week, by the time they're 25, their bodies are going to be finished. And now look at Rashford. He was playing at United every week, twice a week, ever since he was about 17,
Yeah.
And then now, constantly injured, constantly carrying a niggle, constantly sort of out of the squads and stuff, especially for United. He was carrying some big injuries, and, those are all results from that large amount of playing time in your early career. You look at sort of Rooney. He could have had so much more longevity, but because he started playing so young, that energy just ran out of him by the end. And I think I hope that doesn't happen with Gravenberch, because there is a quality player in him, but if we keep running him into the ground, he's going to start picking up injuries and his performances are going to drop, and that's natural.
Yeah.
So we really need to watch out with Gravenberch's minutes and how we utilise him. And, you know, the worst thing is I see another 90 minutes versus Newcastle on Sunday.
Yeah.
So when does he get a break?
I think we should trust Endo more, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But maybe
I think the problem with Endo and Slot, I think Endo doesn't play as progressive as Slot would like, and I think that's sort of in build-up, especially when we go into a game and we're meant to be the team that dominate the ball, which commonly happens. Of course, maybe not last night, but, you know, in the Premier League and stuff, when we play teams at home, you know, you're expected to keep the ball and dominate it and dominate them. So I understand in them circumstances why, you know, you would really stick to Gravenberch, but when you are playing a game like PSG, you should have thrown an Endo on. I was screaming out for Endo in about the 60th minute to come on at DM, and then obviously maybe in foresight. Luckily he didn't, because then he had to come on at centre back. But yeah, I agree with you, and I think Gravenberch gets a 6 as well. McAllister, I think we can be a bit positive about this one. I'd probably give him a 7.
Yeah, I agree.
He won the ball back loads. He was progressing the ball really well. A few dangerous sort of chances created on the edge of the box, and, you know, got himself in good places at good moments. But again, just wasn't enough.
Maybe a 7. I think it was a typical.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, typical McAllister performance though. I think he's a quality player, and he's little, but he's surprisingly so strong. Szoboszlai.
5.
I don't know if we can be that harsh.
We can. He was that bad. I can't remember a single thing he did well that whole game.
Yeah, true.
How many times did he get caught with the ball in his feet? Like, there was the one where it bounced off his heel and went back when we were on a counter attack. Like, not good enough. Not good enough at all. 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree.
It just did absolutely nothing.
He's a grafter, I think.
I get that he's a grafter, but also you play in a number 10 role for Liverpool, and you can be a grafter and be creative. Those two things aren't like parallel. It's not like you have either one or the other. You can do both, and that's the annoying thing, that sometimes he just doesn't seem to have that spark, and this is what happens. And 5 out of 10 for Szoboszlai. The sooner we move on from that, the better.
Yeah, we'll move on to Salah.
I think 6. I think people are really harsh on him, but you know, put so many balls on a plate for players, and they just didn't capitalise. You know, he created loads. He was dangerous throughout the game, so can't be too harsh on him and go too low. But I think, unfortunately, as it sees us drop out of the UCL, that might be the end of the Salah Ballon d'Or run. And if that is the case, that is going to be really sad, because he does deserve it, and he has been the best player on the planet. And I don't want to hear none of this slander about, Salah went 2 games without scoring against PSG, and this is the best player in the Prem, you claim. Shut up. Just shut your mouth. 27 goals, 17 assists in how many games? 29 or 30 now?
29.
Don't chat to me about all of this bullshit. He is the best player in the world. Oh, he scores penalties. Take his penalties away. He's still going to be 10 goals against them.
I don't get the argument. So if he gets given a penalty, what's he going to do? Miss it on purpose because of
the
comments?
but hear me out. Do you know what's even funny about this? If you take all of his penalties away, he's still so clear on GA, it's unbelievable. I think Isaac's behind him, like 8 or 7 goals behind, without penalties included. And Isaac has his penalties included in that. Because, of course, people will apply that to our players and Salah, but they won't apply it to anyone else.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's just an unfair comparison.
Like, I saw this thing on Instagram, and it was like, take Salah's penalties away, and then it showed like a table, and he was still first, 4 goals and assists, obviously, because they're not penalties, but he was first for goals and assists still, and for overall GA combined. Like, so what are you proving? That even without penalties, he's still the best player in the league?
Exactly, and it's the only slander I ever hear of him. But even on TikTok, for example, you'll see someone say, but it's all penalties. Somebody replies to it, what's he supposed to do? Miss it? And then the person doesn't reply back because he's just been proven wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you know what I mean? You get given a penalty because he's
still
clinical.
have to score a penalty.
And it's
Look at Nunes.
Exactly. And it's not like he sits there, stutters. No, he just walks up to the ball, he runs at it, blams it top left, top right, goal. calm as you like, and he does it all the time. So
yeah, that's enough on sort of Salah. We'll move on to Jota now.
poor.
Yeah, again,
So poor.
6 probably,
Yeah.
maybe even a 5. I just don't know
Maybe.
what's going on with Jota anymore.
It's so weird because he's just not the player he was. Not even the start of the season.
But again, you know how we were saying about him not being fully fit? He got asked about that before PSG, and he said he's not. He's still getting back to full fitness. And
so
goes to show, it's exactly my point.
why is he playing?
Because we have to
every
bring
game?
the numbers up. I mean, you saw what Nunes did there. He
Yeah.
came on and did fuck all as well. So
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he's there to fill the numbers up, and someone has to play at striker. But yeah, I don't know, mate. So yeah,
Yeah, I
Jota
agree.
can get a 5 or a 6. I can't even be asked to contemplate that any longer. Diaz 7. I think he
not
was
too
our
bad.
shining, bright shining spark in attack.
There you go.
I think any time he got the ball, he was dangerous, and he was
Yeah.
running and dribbling and creating. So yeah, Diaz can have a 7 from me, which probably makes him contender for man of the match
I
with
think
Trent.
I agree. I think Trent gets them on the match. Though.
Yeah,
I
probably.
agree.
On to the subs. Who came on first? Who cares? Nunes, we'll start with him. 4.
For he missed
He
the
doesn't
penalty.
even deserve a 5. I can't be asked. Just please, FSG, get him out. Curtis
Elliot?
Jones.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, we'll go Jones. I mean,
Misses.
I love Curtis Jones. He's one of my favourite players. I love the fact he's scouse, and I love the way he plays. But he wasn't good enough when he came on. Kept giving the ball away in extra time. There was like 3 or 4 occasions in a row where he gave it away, or like with a pass or attempted dribble. So yeah, not too great from Jones. Obviously misses the penalty, so we'll probably give him a 5.
Yeah, I agree.
Elliot, I mean, I don't even think he touched the ball from what I know.
And it's sad. I think he should have came on so much earlier because he literally scored last game. But it's not even about that. He's a player that can really change a match because
And that's what I mean.
the way he plays, right, is he's so good with the ball. But he can pick that pass out.
And he can shoot from distance.
Exactly. So what really else are we missing in the player? Genuinely, I can't really see much flaws in him, and I think he could be the future for Liverpool.
I think physicality is the key problem. If you look at our midfield, you know, when you've got Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, and then McAllister as the smaller player, it works because you still have that physicality elsewhere.
Yeah.
But if all of a sudden we add another small player and then we've got McAllister and Elliott in the same midfield, it's going to get bullied. And I think on balance, on paper, I can't understand why he doesn't play as much as he should, but I can understand on certain occasions why he's not selected.
Yeah, but
Because it requires a physical battle, and he can't provide that.
I think that physicality, can get improved as time goes on.
Yeah, I
and
know, but his frame isn't like, he's not going to all of a sudden go to 6 foot.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Even if his physicality gets great, he's still quite short. He's going to be able to get pushed off the ball. And the
Yeah.
type of player he is, he's not going to be working at the gym 70 hours a week to get bigger because he doesn't need it. 'Cause
Yeah.
his game relies so much on that low centre of gravity
Yeah,
and that
true,
dribbling and all
true.
of that. So it's not even something that he probably even looks to improve, of course. Every player gets bigger, but he's not going to get big enough to, make that difference.
I see that.
Especially when Szoboszlai's ahead of him, who's obviously very tall and physical as well, and he loves to get stuck in. So, yeah, again, I don't even think Elliott touched the ball. He can get a 6 because that's what they start with when they come on. So,
but
yeah.
I think he should have started. Not started, but came on so
Yeah.
much earlier. He just can
Quansah?
make a difference. Quansah, I don't even think he did that bad. I'll be
Yeah,
honest.
I think he was pretty good. I mean, whipped a few balls in, nearly lucky and successful, but wasn't to be. Quansah can get a 6 as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Endo at centre back again, 6.
Should have came on earlier as well.
Yeah,
But
for Gravenberch, but we'll ignore that. So yeah, Endo can have a 6 as well. He didn't really do much notable. He played well, I guess. Then, so yeah, we'll take that. Who else came on?
was that 5?
Yeah, did we not make 6?
Oh yeah, nah. I think we made 8.
8.
I swear you get a 3 extra.
No, 1 extra.
Okay. Nah, I got confused then. Anyhow,
8. So
who's the 6?
who start? Oh right, no. So Jones and I'm lost. Tsimikas came on, didn't he? I need to have a look.
Nah,
at this,
I don't
mate.
think so.
Right. Real Madrid are currently 1-0 down as well at Atletico Madrid, but obviously doesn't concern us anymore.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, so annoying.
That's so disappointing to see now.
Right, who else came on? So Quincy Nunes joined. Oh right, Gakpo. We forgot about him because he's been injured. Didn't do much. He can get a 6 as well.
I think he should have took a penalty.
But yeah, let's just go over the penalties before we wrap this up quickly. My order would have been Salah, Van Dijk, Gakpo, and then probably, I don't know, to be fair, running out of options. McAllister he wasn't on the pitch. I don't know.
Robertson.
Anyone but Nunes. So on that note, thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Been a bit of a negative one, but no other way to feel after that game. But yeah, hopefully we'll be bringing you guys some content from Thailand after we're Carabao Cup winners, and life will be going back to great.
Yeah, hopefully we will still see you in a bit of a different state. However, in Thailand,
mate. Boy, if you guys watch into this video that we're gonna release from Thailand, you're gonna see us absolutely steaming and plastered, watching the final, probably surrounded by ladyboys, trying to get a bit of. But yeah, definitely tune into that.
So that's
going to
be an interesting episode.
Yeah,
maybe a bit different as well. So
probably going to get banned from all social media platforms. But
that's just how it goes.
Yeah, we've had great fun today. So thank you for tuning in, guys.
Thank you very much.
And like I said, we'll see you after the Newcastle game.
See ya.